The 2025 Bentley Continental GT Speed. I'll be the first one to admit that this 771 horsepower, ultra premium, $300,000 GT coupe is not going to be the most relevant car to the vast majority of us. Most of us will never have the opportunity to either drive or own one of these things. But here at Savage Geese, we've been presented with a unique opportunity. Most of these ultra exclusive brands like Rolls-Royce, Bentley, Bugatti, Aston, they're all shielded by a layer of marketing and PR BS. They give you very little access to the engineers, and they're not entirely transparent with what the value or engineering that goes in these cars is. Bentley's been kind enough to hook us up with Marcus, one of the lead engineers on this car. He's going to walk us through manufacturing, some of the brand ethos, the chassis engineering, the drivetrain engineering, and what makes the Continental unique in the grand scheme of premium cars today. So that hopefully you learned something in this video and you enjoyed the video. Now with that out of the way, let me walk you through what the GT Speed is, how much it costs, and of course, what it's like to live with from an interior and exterior perspective. The GT Speed is the latest Continental trim level. The Continental in Bentley's lineup has always been their sporty GT two-door car. It's meant to sit on the highway at high speeds, be a total isolation chamber when you want it to be, and then when you want to have a little bit of fun, you can do that in this car. Despite its immense size and mass, it has surprisingly sporty driving characteristics. It's a car that can be driven on the track, not that you ever would. You will drive it on a back road, have some fun there, and then sit on the highway for the rest of the time. Now, from a cost perspective, this is incredibly expensive, as you're probably expecting. It starts in the low 300s, it's like 303, 305, not that it particularly matters, because everything in this car is essentially an optional extra and very expensive. Bentley will tell you they are not a value brand. This car is nearly $100,000 in options. This excellent looking, though boring, gray paint is $8,000. This first edition package is $50,000. The carbon ceramic brakes are $18,000. This car will nickel and dime you, though again, if you're looking at a $300,000 depreciating luxury coupe, you probably don't care about any of that. From an exterior perspective, this looks like a Continental, which means it is a very striking, very imposing looking, expensive feeling two-door luxury car that you can customize to the hilt. Customization is a part of brands like this, and you can do anything you want when it comes to exterior colors, wheel options, style, as long as you'll pay for it. And that's the name of the game. When it comes to the interior space of this car, it's the same thing. You can customize this thing to the hilt. That's a part of the luxury game. The other thing is this is probably one of the most expensive feeling interiors I've ever been in, and that's because of the attention to detail. Now, we're going to talk more about manufacturing when you get in the shop, but what you need to know is this car takes 8 weeks to assemble, and the average tack time for a manufacturing process is 10 minutes. Tack time is essentially how long it takes a manufacturer to assemble a single part or do a single task. A Corvette, for example, most of its tack times are sub a minute. This is 10 minutes per thing, which is crazy. But because of that, everything lines up. There's a solidity to the way all the panels fit. And the material choice in this car is superb. If you are a up-and-coming luxury brand, you want to see what an expensive car is supposed to feel like, get into this thing. All of the materials, all of the touch points feel and look ultra expensive. Now, technology. That's not why you're buying this car. It has a name brand audio system. Name is the brand, N-A-I-M. In this car, it is optional. It is 2,200 watts. It has like 20 speakers, and it is the best audio experience I've had in a two-door car, period. It is phenomenal. The noise floor in this car is ultra low, particularly at lower speeds when the tire noise isn't factored into it. The tech in this car is older generation Audi VW Group stuff, which, while it may not sound like the best thing, it is because all the controls are still physical. What luxury brands need to know is touchscreens aren't expensive feeling. Touch controls don't make a luxury experience. Mercedes, for example, in their Maybachs, royally screwed that up. I'm sorry, tapping on a $200,000 screen doesn't make it a $200,000 experience. A Civic can do that. This has physical, expensive feeling controls for everything. Your HVAC controls, your drive modes, even the steering wheel switchgear, while it looks like it's out of an Audi, because it is, has a high level of tactility to it, which is required in an expensive car. The seats are probably the best seats in a luxury car I've ever been in. They have endless adjustments. The leather feels very, very expensive. It's soft. The massage function is superb. And when you look at them, they do everything you want an expensive seat to do. They're heated, they're cooled, they're massaging. They hold you in when you take turns quickly, obviously not a track car. And then when you're just driving for a long period of time, you basically feel like you're sitting on a couch. Now, the cons of this space are packaging. Mark will be the first one to tell you, as he's now a minivan man, that Bentley did not utilize the MSB architecture all that well. And I'm gonna be honest with you. From a packaging perspective, it's not great. The back seats in this car, despite its immense size, are largely worthless. And this being the GT Speed, which means it's a PHEV, a plug-in hybrid, the trunk is totally botched. In the past, the GT's got like 13 cubic feet of cargo capacity. You're just over 9, which in a car like this, you're probably going to take golfing or on long distance trips where you have luggage. That's going to be one of the points of contention with this car. In the shop with the 4th generation of Bentley Continental. Before we speak to Marcus, one of the engineers responsible for this car, we're going to briefly walk you through what this is. This is the 4th gen Continental. It first debuted in 2024. For this specific model, which is the GT Speed, it replaces the old W12 Speed. Bentley will be the first people to tell you that downsizing a drivetrain for emissions is a big pill to swallow, particularly for the ultra luxury customer base. In the past, these things had a 6-liter W12 engine, which essentially made the Continental for a long time. Bentley's hoping that people accept this more powerful drivetrain, the extra thrust it has, and the extra capability for some of the emotionality, or in exchange for some of the emotionality of the old drivetrain. I'll leave that up to you. This is built on the MSB architecture, which is the platform Porsche first developed for the Panamera. Obviously, the front and rear subframes are carryover, but the body in white for Bentleys is unique. These cars are handmade. They take 8 weeks to assemble. The manufacturing process is essentially, all of these are bespoke orders. You get a 4-liter twin-turbo V8 with a 48-volt system, which the V8 alone makes just under 600 horsepower. It uses an electric motor that lives in the gearbox, which makes just under 200 horsepower and has a 25.9 kilowatt hour battery pack that lives in the rear subframe, and an 8-speed dual clutch automatic gearbox with a rear bias all-wheel drive system. Systems you've all seen in the Porsche Panamera with essentially the same output. Obviously, the power delivery and the way it's tuned is unique to the Bentley. All the suspension tuning as well is unique to the Bentley as well. So this car has air ride. It has twin valve dampers like you've seen on a Porsche. It has rear steer, which helps this vehicle, which is very heavy, over 5,500 pounds, feels smaller, and it has endlessly adjustable dampers as well. This has essentially brake-by-wire. It is an EBB system, or electronic brake booster, due to the fact that this car now has brake regen, due to the fact that it's a hybrid or a PHEV. With all that said, I think it's time for us to go speak to Marcus, who's going to walk you through some of the specific brand ethos of Bentley.
So my name is Marcus Thiel. I'm in Bentley. I'm a director, being responsible for vehicle motion. That includes a chassis, powertrain, and ADAS, all the relevant systems who deliver those, let's say, features of the car. I joined Bentley 3 years ago, almost exactly 3 years ago. And before that, I was working for Audi in several positions in powertrain development, technical certification, verification, validation. That's me. Welcome to my office.
So let's start from, I guess, the base of this car. From my understanding, it's built on the modular architecture called MSB. So how does Bentley take the architecture that was either, forgive me, was it co-developed with Porsche or developed by Porsche first and then altered for the various applications that the platform's used on?
So the MSB platform, as you said, is a joint development between Bentley and Porsche. Porsche is the platform developer, and we, as a future platform user, as soon as the process starts, we will feed our requirements into the development process, and then the outcome is a joint development and a platform that fits both brands in this case, so both products. Yes. So everything is acknowledged beforehand. all the other bits are mainly, let's say, developed for us together. So we try to change as less as possible because this is the efficiency we can get out of it. And of course, the big difference is, let's say, our understanding of the product and the attributes. And let's say the easiest to understand is that the level of comfort we would like to achieve with a Bentley is on another level, whilst Porsche is clearly focused on vehicle performance. We use another chassis system. So whilst we have a semi-active chassis system, Porsche has a fully active chassis system. And this is as well the outcome of a requirements process. Porsche needs that for their performance targets. And we decided to go with our active robust system for, let's say, the bandwidth we need to give natural driving behavior and, let's say, covering the bandwidth between comfort and performance in the best way for Bentley and for our attributes.
So when you're saying there are efficiencies in the design process of MSB, so you're using similar front and rear, obviously the front subframe in both cars cases. Are they the identical front subframe to say like a Panamera with different assets?
And single. So again, the clear target is to use as much similarities as possible. So, and only, let's say, have minor design changes, because this is when you talk about tooling and production processes later on where you get the benefits out of the car. And therefore, the better you are at the early phase of the development process, the more you get out of it. Yeah,
makes sense. When it comes to the control arms, are they the same as well? Are they carried over from Panamera, or you have unique actual upper and lower control arms in your multi-link to this car?
That's very in the detail, almost the magic ingredients, but we did some adjustments in terms of that to cover our needs.
Understood. Just given that how vastly different the body in white is and sort of the mission in the car.
Yeah.
In my mind, there was no way that some of the individual components were shared because
on that level. On that level, we will implement changes. So it's yeah. You always have to make the decision in terms of how far can you go with the existing technology, and when is the, let's say, the business case given to get the feature or the attribute out of the change. So, but those level of details will be clearly analyzed and changed for our needs.
The difficult part of, obviously you have to deal with emissions in a way the US does not, and obviously this is a European centric product from a development perspective, manufacturing, everything else. Can you walk me through how the electric motors and the logic for the SoCs work for your battery? So my understanding is you have one electric motor in this car that lives in the ZF8 speed that you guys are using, correct? There's only one electric motor?
Yeah.
So here becomes the trickier question, but this is the truth of it. This car, at least from an American-centric perspective, people who buy big luxury coupes that are very powerful don't like having drivetrains downsized. You know, that is the hard part, because you're buying these cars for emotional reasons. Whatever that may be, you're buying the car for emotional reasons. And traditionally, as an engineer, as I find with many engineers that I've befriended over the years, it's hard to explain to them that numbers, like the car may be more powerful than the W12 you're replacing, but it's still not a W12. So from an emotional perspective, because it's an emotional product, how are you trying to convince customers that it's still, you know, what they're used to, or the power or the feel that they're looking for? How are you offsetting this gigantic W12 that used to be in this car?
Yeah, that's a very good question, and this is, as you said, it's not an easy one, because it's not about facts. It's not about let's say something you can really measure. It's about emotions, and the W12 definitely was something super exclusive. So this is something 6-liter W12. This is something that's just just the name of the engine is something very special. So therefore, the answer I would give is you have to convince people to at least drive the car, and then the car has to speak for itself. And this is how we did it internally. Of course, I know that this is difficult, because this first step my colleagues from comms and sales and marketing have to make. Yeah, so to get people into the car. We had the same discussion with our engineering teams, as soon as we drove the PHEV, we were massively impressed how much potential this car has. And I think this is the key, to convince the people to be, let's say, brave enough, or name it, to get into the car, to give it a try, and to experience what's possible. And the best would be with, let's say, some kind of guidance and a good idea of what's possible with this car to do. So because the new PHEV, we don't call it PHEV. This is another thing. So I think I would always call it a Continental Speed, right? So, and it's our ultra hybrid. So it's not. So I think the car is not there to save anything. So it's an emotional, let's say, story anyway. If you drive the car, the progressiveness, the power, the response, the sound is absolutely impressive. And everything I've seen so far who drove the car had another opinion after that. So apart from, let's say, the name, the W12 as a number, everyone was convinced that this new car is a step forward in terms of almost everything you could get out of one of these luxury GTs. So this is, the answer is, I think, not everything you would like to hear, because I don't have, let's say, a magic idea. But the other fact is the combination of the powertrain with the chassis, which gives you, because of the car is heavier, but it's more balanced, and it has an advanced chassis technology. So let's say the dynamics of the car is improved, and that creates as well emotion. And our car is very progressive, so it's easy to drive the car, even close to the limit or beyond the limit. So the systems allow that, and this has made something a lot of people maybe won't experience. But if you are an ambitious driver, if you're in a safe environment, if you have the chance, that you will feel that this car is, again, as you said, very capable, and just makes you feel good. So I could continue for a few hours, even in the pub over there in Manchester, among others. So I think, and if you ever have the chance to join us here, I think to get a feeling of the passion, that impressed me when I came over from Audi, which I love as a company, and the products as well. But this small company here in Crewe, in the northwest of England, is just something very special. The passion that people have here for the detail and for the brand. I think I learned a lot coming to the UK, and I think changing things and seeing something new, another approach, is always helpful. So, and my clear target is, when I have to go back someday, I hopefully can bring something, let's say, to the party in Ingolstadt, in terms of how it is to develop a car in a small company. So, which is a completely different story than in a bigger company. And I think this is the spirit I would like to live. So to say, to have this exchange and to have the opportunity to learn and to grow. And invitation is out, so let me know. So it was not the worst conversation I ever had, so not at all.
All right, we're setting off in the Bentley Continental GT Speed around Autobahn Country Club South. Why am I driving a Bentley Continental around Autobahn South? Well, other than the fact that it's fun, this thing has almost or around 800 horsepower. So despite this being an excellent highway car, let me get this out of the way. It is a superb highway car. It feels like it's $400,000 to drive. It's ultra supple. The suspension does a very good job masking its mass on the highway. It rides well. It has a little big wheel ride, meaning these giant wheels do it no favors, but it's still very, very, very supple. And if you live in a country where you can cruise well past 100 miles an hour all day long, it is a perfect big luxury yacht. Road noise is interesting. It's very quiet when it comes to wind noise and general road noise, but the tire noise is higher than I would think. That said, when you're driving it at its dynamic limit, which is what I'm trying to experience now, what it does well is it's fun. We talked to... come on. Nope. There we go. Does not like that. It's just sort of a like playful car. Like, it never lets you forget that it's really not at home on a big track. Why I'm at Autobahn. But if you're on, like, say, a back road where you can experience some of the rotation under throttle, rotation under lift, I think you'll be happily surprised with how much enjoyment you can get out of this car. The rear steer is actually pretty transparent, meaning yes, in low speed maneuvers you know it's there, but on track it's doing a good job trying to hide the initial like mass of this car as you're getting in and to rotate. So here, low speed corner, rear steer's helping, a little bit of rotation, a little bit of lift, under throttle, under throttle, a little bit of oversteer. Same here, 1, 2, whee. It's not like that at all. Dynamically, I'm going to say the big con of this car is braking. Same deal. When we spoke to Marcus, the fact that they are blending regen with this pedal, it never lets you forget that this is basically a digi pedal that is trying to blend regen and friction braking. So when you're trying to judge braking distances at very, very high speeds, the pedal doesn't do the best job in making you feel the most confident that you're not going to blow a braking zone, which is really the only knock I have against this very big, shockingly fun sports coupe. All right, so with that, let's head into the final thoughts. Final thoughts on the Bentley Continental GT Speed. First off, huge thanks to our title sponsor, Bridgestone Tires. Without them, videos like this would not be possible. So if you're looking for tires for your own car, please take a look at their Potenza lineup, the Sport, Race, and the Ultra Sticky RE71 RS. And sadly, winter is coming, at least if you live here in the Midwest or northern states. So it's time to think of all-season snow-capable tires or winter tires like the Blizzak lineup. Also thanks to our home away from home, Autobahn Country Club. If you like seeing us drive on track, they are how it is possible. So if you're looking to attend a track day, please look at their calendar. If you want to become a member to drive their performance fleet or just access the track when you want, hit them up. If you want to attend a driving program or a driving school, they have that on offer as well to the general public. And if you want to become a karting member and attend their karting league, they also have that at their facility. So what about the car itself? Well, let's talk about the negatives first. The first is depreciation. These cars are not only very expensive to buy, they're very expensive to own. They have truly terrible depreciation curves. If you own one of these things in a year, you'll probably lose over $100,000, which is rough. And it's something that a lot of big luxury coupes suffer from, but if you compare it to something like a 911 Turbo S, which is sort of trying to accomplish a similar task of being this ultra high-speed GT cruiser, that car essentially doesn't depreciate. That's something Bentley's gonna have to work on internally and with their dealers. The other thing to bring up is the road noise, specifically the tire noise. It is very quiet on the inside when you're not moving. It quiets down the world around you. You don't hear a lot of wind noise or other vehicles. What you hear is a lot of tire noise, and I blame it on the large wheels with low rolling resistance tires. The tire noise is too high. The packaging on the inside of this car, you can tell the Continental wasn't designed with a big battery pack in the trunk in mind. It's just ruined sort of the usability of the Continental, at least from a cargo perspective, not great. And the brake blending with regen in the pedal is not the best implemented. However, from a pro, this is probably the single best highway GT car I've ever driven. It eats up miles like nothing else. The high-speed stability is excellent. The high-speed ride quality is great. And it manages to make you feel better when you drive it. It relaxes you. The NAME audio system is probably the best audio system I've experienced in any car, particularly a two-door car. Some of the best seats I've ever been in. And the build quality is exceptional. It is one of the few expensive cars that everyone I put in it actually felt that it was expensive. It felt like an over $300,000 car. And the fact that you can customize it, there's an attention to detail to the stitching and everything else about it, does make it feel like a luxury item. It's just something you're gonna have to accept that it's not necessarily the best financial decision when it comes to residuals and is expensive. So thanks for watching. Hope to see you again soon.